The good sign for Saturn is always the Earth sign, Taurus, and also his own sign, which is Aquarius, and Gemini. Gemini, um, Saturn itself is the Yoga Karaka for Gemini ascendant. So the thing here that I want to mention about this reading, it is general reading. You have to also to remember this, even if you have good placements of Saturn. Saturn itself, Saturn is always represents delays, frustration, patience, and also humble, being humble, being humble with yourself. So even if Saturn is in the good sign, it doesn't mean automatically you will live easily. That's not what happened when it comes to shiny day. That's not what happened here. Um, Saturn is just a little bit easier when it comes to these signs. So you have to remember all that. And also the houses is also matters. So again, this is just general reading. But anyway, if Saturn is in any of this sign, this can be good indications that later on, always remember Saturn's give off anything, usually letters in life. So if you have any of Saturn's place in this sign, in Virgo, for example, it just means that throughout your life, that you will build something, that you will um, be more of like grounded, more realistic in nature. Saturns bring stability in Virgo. Saturns bring a good income because Virgo itself is actually the sign that is represents um, Earth. So the income can become something that is steady, But remember, like I said, Saturn is all about delays. So it will comes later on in life. But he will show that he will give it to you. If you're running the Mahadasha of Saturn itself and you are any of these signs, then later in the Mahadasha, you will earn something that is permanent, that is strong, and that is good foundation. And that's what Saturn is. Again, the same thing happened in Taurus. If Saturn is in Taurus, then you will earn money, a steady amount of money, income, a good family foundation. You might have to go through a hard times in the beginning of your life, but then later on, the family can be good to you. You will start to appreciate more of the family values, or the family itself can be appreciating you when Saturn is in this sign. In Taurus, the accumulated money is also can be expected later on, and you will build a strong endurance when it comes to with the relationship, especially with the money. I actually have a friends of mine, a good friends of mine that I did a reading. She has Saturn in Taurus. My goodness. Even though the sign itself, it's really good, it's really good. Um, in her early life, this person is pretty much suffering, a lot of suffer. But then I watch herself as she gets older. My goodness, it's just so beautiful. This person's from, you can say, a person that has no, um I don't want to be rude in this, but she, a person who has no dignity, to become someone who is so humble, someone who is also becoming um very dignified woman. It just surprised me. It's surprised me how she's just changing. And that's what Saturn is. She is slowly becoming the person that she will always, wants to be. But early in her life, it's just lacking. Now, what happens if you have Saturn in Aquarius? Aquarius is represents the imaginative mind. Someone who is innovates something, because remember this, Saturn and Rahu actually co-ruled Aquarius. The Rahu has the Satabisha Nashchatra, which is ruled by Rahu itself, can bring strong inner power to basically innovate, to grow as a human being, to grow, to innovate. But in early life, if someone has this Saturn place in Aquarius, it just means that the innovative mind can be a power struggle. Instead of like being innovative, there won't be innovations at all. So the struggle is always about um, being creative. Saturn is delaying that aspects of this person if you have Saturn in Aquarius until later on. It can be fortified and structured, the connections between the mind of being creative and more of like a dignified creativity that will end up having innovative minds. But early in life, it might be a struggle with creativity. And also because Rahu has rulership here too, cook rulership with Saturn. So this means that if you have this positions of Saturn, the sign in Aquarius, it just means that there will be time where you will be questioning a lot of things that will break something, break the, you can say, the rules. This is the rebels, rebel kind of like um people who have this kind of Saturn's placement in Gemini. If Saturn is in Gemini, in early life, you might suffer from lack of communication, problem with expressing yourself with the world. And Gemini is also represented the two people, a woman, the two females. So early in life, if you have Saturn in Gemini, it just means that the relationship with you and the sibling can be difficult to handle. And because Saturn itself represents an old person, um, it can make you um, very serious when you try to speak with people, the way that you talk with people. It can be so serious, and people just like like, wow, you're just so cold. You have to be relaxed. So it is giving a lot of issue when it comes to communication. It's just making the communications dry and cold. But later in life, You can be someone who is pretty good in communication. Usually, if you have Saturn in Gemini, um, you can be a good journalist, someone who is like able to tell the world the conditions of the world, what it is, like, like the news. But yes, you will have problem with speech, with the way you communicate with people. If Saturn is actually afflicted or have any kind of like malefic conjunctions in the chart, this can alter the conditions and even making it more difficult. So yeah, even in the good sign of Saturn is basically still giving a lot of obstacles. The Earth itself is the part of the Badaka, which is obstacles. So that's what Saturn is anyway. Saturn is the Badaka planet, which means it is obstacle. Though for Gemini ascendant, Saturn is actually a Yoga Karaka, which means a planet that gives you happiness. But again, Saturn is a malefic planet that only teaches us to be humble, to be grounded, only through humility. So it just if you have this placement, just rest assured, later on in life, you will flourish. So sorry, I forgot about adding Libra and Capricorn. But anyway, in Libra, Saturn is exalted here. Um, really good. Saturn is strong here. Um, but the thing about Saturn in Libra, early on in life, you might struggle a little bit with, not a little bit, it's more of like the struggle to build connections with any kind of relationship, really, in partnership, professional relationship, or perhaps being with friends in general. This also does apply when it comes to Aquarius, but Saturn in Libra, it's more of like focus on trying to establish a good connections with the people. So in order to do that, you have to go under extreme pressure, because remember, Saturn is exalted in Libra. It just means that he gaining a strong energy. So in relationship early on in life, it will manifest in struggle with relationship, struggle with bonding with your friends. They might manipulate you, they might backstabbing you, but in the end of the day, this energy is giving a lot of good lessons in life. It makes a person who is very um, fair, someone who is disciplined and also diplomatic. This placement of Saturn can give you a good positions if you want to be a judge, someone who is judging, because you possess this good qualities of fairness in you. You see the good and the bad side of life. You see the good sides of life and also the bad side of it, that making you see the duality itself. Saturn being placed in here, it actually making a person really romantic, very romantic person. Um, if you have someone um, and also have Saturn in this placement, this person is very romantic, deep down in his or her soul. This person is really romantic, and success can be achieved through being disciplined in this Saturn placement. Being disciplined with yourself, being disciplined with the people that you are involved with. You know what I mean? It's just that you have to give a fair amount of energy with the people, like you giving certain things in with someone, and the person that you're giving is also giving you something in returns, obviously. So there is always a advantage of having Saturn in Libra, and also disadvantage. The only downside of having Saturn in Libra is just making you extremely is delay of having relationship. It could be romantic relationship, it could be professional relationship, like business. But yes, so what happened if Saturn is in Capricorn? This is his own sign, his own sign basically. When Saturn is placed in here, it can make a person lazy, honestly. Imagine this. Um, the boss have a home. The boss itself will try to basically enjoy whatever it is in the boss home itself. When you are being in your own home, what are you going to do? You're going to relax. You're going to simply don't care about the rest of the outside thing, the external thing. So the downside of having Saturn in Capricorns early on in your life, it can make a person lazy. It's just making you don't want to work. There is no motivations in going to work. You want things just to be ordered by someone else. Now Saturn is going to discipline you by giving you obstacle, so that you will be a person later on to be a person who is a hardworking person, and you will earn it. You will earn this rewards. Maybe in the first early life you will struggle with money, with the job. You might not having the job, perhaps, or perhaps if you have a job, you're losing it quite often. But then later on, when Saturn hit maturity, it can give you a stable career. So that's it, anyone, for this reading. For Saturn in the good sign,